I don't know if this is true, but this is crazy.
The Simpsons has predicted the future more than any show in history.
Have you ever wondered how The Simpsons can predict the future?
Simpsons in 1998, and this is what really happened.
Is it just a coincidence, or are the writers of The Simpsons secretly prophets with a crystal ball? For decades, this show has eerily predicted some of the most unbelievable moments in our recent history. We're talking about everything from a Trump presidency to world-changing technology. So, how do they keep getting it right? And we can call it coincidence or foresight, but what if the show isn't just predicting the future? What if it's guiding it? Let's dig deeper, and you might find that The Simpsons have more power than you think. To really dive into this, we have to start with the predictions that are so spot on, they're almost impossible to write off as a fluke. These are the moments that made everyone sit up and ask, how in the world did they know? The first is the presidency of Donald Trump. This is the one that truly ignited this whole conspiracy. In an episode from the year 2000 called Bart to the Future, we see an adult Lisa Simpson in the Oval Office having just become president. She says the now famous line,
"As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump."
At the time, the idea was so out there that it was the perfect punchline. But 16 years later, in 2016, that joke became our reality when Donald Trump was elected president, leaving everyone completely stunned. The writer of that episode, Dan Greeny, even said he picked Trump because he seemed like the most ridiculous placeholder name he could think of. But ridiculous or prophetic? You decide. The second is the Disney-Fox merger.
Rupert Murdoch today walked away from his Hollywood empire, selling 21st Century Fox to Disney.
Long before it happened, The Simpsons called one of the biggest media shakeups in history. In a 1998 episode, When You Dish Upon a Star, there's a quick sight of the 20th Century Fox studio lot. On a big sign, it says 20th Century Fox. But right underneath in parentheses are the words, a division of Walt Disney Co. Fast forward 19 years to December 2017, when Disney announced it was acquiring 21st Century Fox in a massive deal that would be completed in March 2019. The joke that was supposed to be a jab at giant corporations ended up being a perfect preview of Hollywood's future. The next is Lady Gaga's Super Bowl halftime show. Sometimes it's not just the big events they predict, but the weirdly specific details. Back in a 2012 episode, Lisa Goes Gaga, the pop star performs for Springfield. During her concert, she's flying over the crown suspended by cables in a wild, sparkling outfit while playing the piano. 5 years later in 2017, Lady Gaga headlined the Super Bowl halftime show. Her performance kicked off with her descending from the stadium roof on wires, looking strikingly similar to her cartoon self. The parallel was so uncanny, you'd think her team used the episode as a storyboard. Next is the US Olympic curling gold medal. Not even the most niche sports are safe from The Simpsons' crystal ball. In a 2010 episode called Boy Meets Curl, Homer and Marge form a curling team and head to the Winter Olympics. In a classic underdog story, they pull off a huge upset and win the gold medal for the USA by beating Sweden. 8 years later, at the 2018 Winter Olympics, the US men's curling team, also considered underdogs, made history by winning their first ever gold medal. And who did they beat in the final? You guessed it, Sweden. Unbelievable, right? And we're just getting warmed up. The predictions only get weirder from here. So if you're enjoying this pop culture investigation, do us a favor and subscribe to the channel and make sure to ring that bell so you don't miss what's next. So let's wade into murkier waters. Next are the predictions that get fiercely debated online. Are these legitimate hits, or are we just connecting dots that aren't actually there? So the next one is the pandemic episode. One of the most talked about predictions comes from a 1993 episode, Marge in Chains. A virus called the Osaka flu hit Springfield after a sick factory worker in Japan coughs into a box of juicers shipped to the US. The whole town descends into a pandemic, and when COVID-19 hit in 2020, clips of this episode went viral. But this one's a stretch. The creators have pointed out that the episode was just a cartoonish parody of past outbreaks, and the fictional flu was from Japan, not China, and many of the images that spread online were doctored to include the word coronavirus. So, this could be a prediction or just a case of a 20-year-old joke echoing in modern times. Next is the Capitol riot. Another prediction with a jarring visual comes from the 1996 episode, The Day the Violence Died. A parody of Schoolhouse Rock shows an angry constitutional amendment on the steps of the Capitol. After it gets ratified, it encourages a mob of other cartoon characters to storm the steps with guns and bombs. In January 2021, when rioters stormed the US Capitol, images from the scene resurfaced, with people drawing a direct line between the two events. Critics argue that the context is worlds apart. One is a satire about lawmaking, and the other was a real-life political riot. It's a visual echo for sure, but whether it's a real prediction is definitely up for debate. Next is the FIFA corruption scandal. In a 2014 episode, You Don't Have to Live Like a Referee, Homer is recruited as a World Cup referee and gets targeted by a FIFA-like executive trying to bribe him. The episode was a clear satire of the corruption rumored to be running rampant in international soccer. Just a year later in 2015, the real-life FIFA corruption scandal blew up, leading to the arrests of multiple high-ranking officials.
FIFA executives and others corrupted the process by using bribes to influence the hosting decision.
While rumors about FIFA had swirled for years, the timing of the episode, right before the scandal became front-page news, was incredibly sharp. Sometimes a prediction comes true not because of the psychic ability, but because life decides to turn a punchline into a headline. Next is the Cypress Hill and the London Symphony Orchestra. This might be the best example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. In the 1996 episode Homer Palooza, a festival organizer is looking for whoever booked the London Symphony Orchestra. He scans the backstage area and says, "Come on people, somebody order the London Symphony Orchestra, possibly while high. Cypress Hill, I'm looking in your direction." The hip-hop group basically says, "Yeah, sounds like us," and then performs Insane in the Brain with the full orchestra. For decades, it was just a classic Simpsons gag. Then, in July 2024, it happened for real. Cypress Hill performed a sold-out show at the Royal Albert Hall with the actual London Symphony Orchestra, bringing a 28-year-old joke to life. The band themselves said it was a dream come true that only The Simpsons could have predicted. So this brings us all to the million-dollar question. How does this keep happening? Is it all magic, or is there a more logical explanation? The writers themselves have weighed in, and the secret seems to boil down to three key things. First is sheer volume. With over 750 episodes spanning more than 35 years, the show has made tens of thousands of jokes about pretty much everything. As longtime writer Al Jean puts it, if you throw enough darts, you're gonna hit some bullseyes. Statistically, a few jokes are just bound to hit the mark. Second, the writer's room is stacked with brilliant, highly educated people. Many are Harvard grads who are totally immersed in politics, science, and pop culture. Their jokes aren't just random. They're often smart extrapolations of what's happening in the world. As showrunner Matt Sulman explained, they satirize societal trends and human behavior, which are often predictable. He said, "It's just that we talk about the world, which is full of dum-dums, and dum-dums do the same dumb stuff again and again. History repeats itself." And finally, there's the show's own cultural footprint. The Simpsons doesn't just predict culture, it influences it. It's been such a massive part of entertainment for so long that its gags have become part of our shared consciousness. In a case like the Cypress Hill concert, a joke became a cultural touchstone that people actively want to make happen. So, do the Simpsons secretly control the world? It's more complicated than a yes or a no. The show isn't run by psychics, but by a team of razor-sharp satirists who've been holding up a mirror to our world for over 3 decades. They see the absurdities around us, blow them up for laughs, and every once in a while, the real world manages to catch up to their craziest punchlines. It's a perfect storm of probability, educated guessing, and a powerful cultural feedback loop. So, they might not have a time machine, but they've built a timeless satire so insightful that it often feels like it's living one step ahead of the rest of us. So, what do you think? Is it all just a wild series of coincidences, or is there something more to it? Let us know in the comments which Simpsons prediction blows your mind the most.